Share the spirit of Edisonia as Wink TV presents the 1987 Grand Parade of Light. The 1987 Edison Pageant of Light Parade coverage is brought to you by Firestone Advertising and their fine clientele, including Stereo World, your total entertainment center. For all your audio and video needs, trust Stereo World, the law firm of Goldberg, Rubenstein, and Buckley. Let them help you protect your legal rights. With offices in Fort Myers, Cape Coral, and Naples. Shutter World, the roll shutter leader, celebrating the opening of their new location in South Fort Myers. And Thalheimer Jewelers, without equal, within reach in the Bell Tower shops. And also brought to you by FlexBond, the hometown paint experts, and Larry Norris Furniture Gallery and Wall Unit Shop, College Parkway in Fort Myers.
Diastar Anatom from Switzerland, protected by scratch-proof metal and sapphire crystal almost as hard as diamond. It is anatomically designed to fit the wrist. It will not blemish. It is a precious object of tomorrow.
Artistic quality and uncompromising value. A Thalheimer tradition. Thalheimer's Jewelers.
Southwest Florida's subtropical climate is great, but it's tough on paint. And that's why more people trust FlexBond. FlexBond paints are made right here in Southwest Florida, especially for our subtropical climate. So don't settle for anything less than the original Florida formula paints from FlexBond, because we're still here when everyone else's promises just fade away.
Old Bruno is more than just a friend. He's also my protector. But he can't protect my home against bad weather, so I've installed roll-down shutters from Shutter World, the roll shutter leader. They'll stop water penetration even in high winds, give extra insulation, and stop burglars cold with crash helmet tough PVC. Remember, nothing can beat Shutter World, not weather, not intruders, not the others.
Good evening and welcome to Wink TV's live broadcast of the Edison Pageant Grand Parade of Light in downtown Fort Myers. I'm Jim McLaughlin.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Pat Milligan.
And I'm Charlie Stiles. I'm glad to be here.
We're glad to have you with us, Charlie.
Things are really picking up out on the street. I think that people are ready for this parade to begin.
They sure are. They've been lined up out there, some since 1 o'clock this afternoon. The chairs, of course, have been there since last Christmas. And you can see behind us in some of the shots that we're getting from our street cameras, the many people. The parade is already underway. It'll be about 10 or 15 minutes before we actually get the parade up to our vantage point. Here we're in front of the old police station in downtown Fort Myers, and been a lot of changes down in this neck of the woods.
A lot of parades and won't see anymore.
Well, you know, Charlie, we were getting ready for this parade. We talked a lot about Thomas Edison over the past few weeks, and I did a special series about our most famous winter visitor, Thomas Edison, who really never acted like a tourist at all when he was here in Southwest Florida.
He used to come down here to spend his vacations, but anybody who knows anything about Thomas Edison knows vacation meant work.
That's right. Tonight I begin a special report on Thomas Edison. We call it the Spirit of Brilliance.
He wanted to do for the eye what his phonograph had done for the human ear. Edison spent 6 years working on the kintograph, a machine that makes a graphic record of movement. Robert Halgram remembers when Edison even invented the first movie star.
While he was messing around with this strip kinetophone, he had Mr. Ott, who worked in the laboratory, take a handkerchief out and walk in front of a camera and sneeze. And this made Fred Ott, who worked with us here, the first motion picture actor in the world.
Edison had an artist paint each frame to make the first perfect color movie. He predicted that one day the world would love movies. This is the first motion picture studio, really just a wooden box that could be turned to catch the sun. That way directors could shoot at any time of the day. It started a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry that keeps growing and changing.
Thomas Edison predicted that the camera's main function would be to record history, and television news wasn't even around in Edison's day, but it's his lights, his cameras, that help to record today's action from all over the globe.
Edison even had his hand in the racetrack. He invented the photo finish, so you can thank Edison next time your bet wins by a hair.
The motion picture industry, I think he could see that it could have been used in a fashion that he was not interested in. He wanted it to be entertainment, but good entertainment for the whole family, and entertainment that would be valued through generations. So he was warning the people that might come after him not to think only in terms of money, that money was not really what he invented the motion picture for.
But above all, Edison told the movie makers to always give the public its best.
Movies are great medicine. Thank you, Thomas Edison, for giving us the best years of our lives. Rolly Roger, you gave us the best years of our lives.
And look at that at the stadium right now. The fireworks are going. They look
Lots
great.
of folks down at the stadium at Fort Myers High School, appropriately named Edison Stadium, and they're getting quite a show down there tonight.
Charlie, you said that they don't always go off right at this time.
Usually, you know, they sort of cap off the stadium show, and then the parade comes in the entrance. You know, the parade is a very closely monitored thing from timing. You know, they walk this thing foot by foot so it flows smoothly, and every time you hope it does.
Looks good so far. Let's move on again with Thomas Edison. You know, we were talking that you'd think a man like Thomas Edison, who was so busy with some major inventions like the light bulb, would never have time for kids' toys, but he did. If you know, Edison invented the first talking doll, as we see in this Spirit of Brilliance report.
Hi, my name is Snoopy.
Well, what do you know?
Mickey Mouse.
And I'm the best playmate a kid could ever have.
Most people believe that talking dolls are made possible today only by Mattel. But do you know that Teddy Ruxpin and Chatty Cathy never would have even had a chance had it not been for Thomas Edison? He's the one who invented the first talking doll.
Edison was in and out of the talking doll business long before the turn of the century. He invented the first talking doll one day when Mrs. Edison asked him to make something kind of special, a gift for a neighbor whose little daughter was ill. But this is how it sounded.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water.
The problem with the doll, it was a little female doll, and it had a male voice.
And there was another problem with the doll. Back in those days, they sold for $35 each. And that was a man's wages for a month.
When you consider so many of Edison's other inventions and how they were practical, this is rather frivolous. And even though it was a fascinating object and people were interested in it, they were not interested so greatly that a great amount of people were going to spend a lot of money for it.
Later, when a toy manufacturer bought the rights to the doll, they made recordings of little girls' voices, and the doll sold like crazy. Today, Disney's animatrons show you just how sophisticated Edison's talking dolls have become.
Now, in just a few seconds, we are going to a commercial break, but this year, you are not going to miss anything.
The parade won't stop while we're in commercials, and neither will our taping of it. We're going to be filming this for you tonight while the commercials are going on, and a little bit later on in our program, we're going to play everything that happened during the parade while the commercials were on the air, so you aren't going to miss a thing. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
All the Lazy Boy styles and fabrics have come to Larry Norris. Get our low introductory prices now on hundreds of Lazy Boy recliners, swivel rockers, and sleep sofas. This high-fashion swivel rocker, only $1.99. This beautiful recliner, reduced to $2.99. And this dramatic sleep sofa, just $4.99. See all the latest colors and fashion fabrics in our huge Lazy Boy department at Larry Norris Furniture Gallery and Wall Unit Shop, Fort Myers next to the Brown Derby.
People who are aware of quality electronics know that Yamaha equipment is revered. It represents the ultimate in research and performance, always striving for the best. Now, for the first time, Stereo World will make it more affordable, offering the first annual Yamaha sale. Every Yamaha item in stock has been reduced, some as much as 50%. This $1,300 complete system is now just $699. Yamaha, the finest stereo equipment in the world, is now within your grasp at Stereo World, Fort Myers, and Naples.
We're back once again live in downtown Fort Myers for Wink TV's broadcast of the Edison Pageant Grand Parade of Light tonight, and the parade is almost upon us.
You can hear things are beginning to happen behind us.
Yeah, it's always the exciting part. When you hear the sirens coming down First Street, you know it's about to come around the corner.
We heard the cannon fire a few minutes ago, and that means things are going to happen in a few minutes, and the flashing lights are behind us.
And a year of work and preparation is now about to be spawned down the streets for the whole show.
And the weather is holding up, so we're keeping our fingers crossed that that'll be our luck tonight.
Charlie, you've been associated with this parade for 26 years. We're back at Edison Stadium now for more fireworks tonight. You've seen a lot of changes in those years.
Oh, some changes and some not so many changes. As far as the parade goes, that doesn't really change that much.
Cowboy coming up.
That's all I think is nice about the tradition. You don't have a lot of changes.
And this is a Fort Myers tradition.
It is a Fort Myers tradition. It is the cap of the Edison week, and this is what the pageant president always keeps his finger crossed about, is to get that thing on.
That's a good one. That is unusual.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll have the famous Edison light bulb. That's always the one that caps it off, too.
That's the finale?
Yeah.
Well, as you can probably hear, and
here
now
we
see
go.
on your screen, the parade is underway. They are just passing in front of our cameras in downtown Fort Myers, the traditional police escort unit in the front. And we're going to be seeing various dignitaries from around Southwest Florida joining us here tonight. Of course, the motorcycle escort is the first of many things you're going to see tonight, and
that
some strange.
That is a vendor who's taking the opportunity tonight to make a little money on the side.
Vendors are also traditional at the Edison Parade of Light on this Saturday night. So
I didn't get a chance to see what they were selling this year. I know there's a lot of little mementos, so people were buying them like crazy.
Name it, and they were selling it, I think, this year.
And here comes the official banner, so this is the kickoff.
Welcome to the Edison Pageant of Light. We're officially underway tonight.
One of the critical points in this parade is they want to keep it moving because they have it so closely timed with the show that's going on at the Edison Stadium. So section marshals can, if there's a problem with a unit like a float, they have the authority to pull the float out of the parade and get it out of the way. We don't like to see these things, stopped along the side.
What kind of problems, Charlie, do they have sometimes where it does slow things up?
The engines will quit if they run out of kerosene for the generators. Every float must be lighted. It does not go down the parade route unless it has full lights, and if it doesn't have lights, they pull it out. That's always been one of the rules.
Now, of course, lights play a very, very important role in the floats and in the overall theme of this pageant.
That's right. It is the pageant of light, and so that's why they get sticky about lights on the floats. In fact, right now.
Here's our first one from the International Flags of Nations, the Lions Club.
That's very clever.
And a very nicely lighted lion there on our first float coming through tonight.
And of course, you always monitor those generators. Sometimes they would start those generators and let them run for 2 hours before the parade started, and then the guy get halfway down the parade route and then run out, and then he's gone.
And that's bad luck.
That's happened to us in little live shots sometimes in the past on news stories. And here are the 67 flags of nations.
The Lions Club once again.
Isn't that colorful? Oh, that's nice.
We have 5 cameras stationed along the parade route, including the camera here from our broadcast vantage point. We have one up on a scaffold. We have another one on a kind of like a power company cherry picker, a floating basket up over the parade route, and of course roving street cameras to give you all a variety of shots and a variety of views of the parade tonight.
And there you see Chief Sperling from the Fort Myers Police Department, one of the lead cars in the parade tonight.
And probably the easiest job that he has all night is to ride down the parade.
That's right.
And the Fort Myers Police now dressed in traditional police department navy blue. I think it looks very nice.
They have a lot of work tonight. Coming in here, every corner had a policeman watching traffic, and there is a lot of it out there tonight.
Yes,
John McDougal from the Lee County Sheriff's Department. Here comes the Florida Highway Patrol entry tonight. Don Kahn, familiar face to many of us.
I'm not too familiar, I hope.
And Lee Clark, Chief of Police for the airports.
This is a night for everybody to shine in Southwest Florida. We have participation from all the Southwest Florida counties, from practically every civic and social group that you could name. They're here tonight.
This is the time when the community comes together.
And it's great not only for the winter visitors who are down here, but for people who live here off and on during the course of the year and may not see what kind of a real together type community we have. I think that's McGruff from the crime division.
Yes. And here's the kiddie car.
We hope he doesn't take a bite out of anything tonight.
I think that's why the pageant is so unique, because it takes people from all walks of life who put it together. They forget their professions, and they come together in one common cause, and that's what's unique.
All levels of sophistication,
yes,
too. Some
that's
homemade
right.
floats and some commercial floats.
Exactly.
And a little touch of the old, too, an antique fire truck from the Fort Myers Fire Department.
And that's a dandy, isn't it?
Isn't that great?
We're going to see some antique cars a little later on, too, I
That's right.
understand. Parade wouldn't be the same without some of Mr. Ford's creations coming along.
And that's his honor. No.
Edison pageant president.
Yes, Dr. Bob Arnold.
Right. And his wife.
Wife's nickname is Sam, and she's been called Sam all her life. A marvelous, delightful woman.
You're going to see a lot of old friends in this parade tonight,
Oh,
Charlie,
my golly,
after 20 some odd years.
You know, Jim, and that's another thing. When they get done being president, they don't quit. They don't walk off into the horizon. You'll see them walking up and down, section marshals, the whole thing.
And you are a past president of the Edison pageant.
I had my shot at it for a year. A marvelous experience.
And here we
There
have
he is.
Fort Myers Mayor Art Hamill and his wife Charlene.
This is the mayor's night to shine in his city.
And Art has been a marvelous supporter of the pageant, you know, for all of these years.
Of course, lots of people turn out to hear the high school bands. We have not only a fine representation from around Southwest Florida, but from various other parts of the country, some coming from as far away as New York State.
That's from everywhere. I mean, they work all year, and it takes a lot of money to get them down here.
It surely does take a lot of money.
Let's go to a commercial break right now. We'll be back in just a few minutes with more parade highlights. Stay with us.
Don't let an auto accident shatter your game plan. If you've been injured in an accident caused by another person's carelessness, just compensation for your pain and suffering and any resulting financial loss is the legal responsibility of the party at fault. It is not automatic, however. Your claim must be proven and a determination made regarding the amount to which you're entitled. Consult the law firm of Goldberg, Rubenstein, and Buckley, a firm with over 20 years of personal injury claim and trial experience in Southwest Florida. The initial office consultation is free. Goldberg, Rubenstein, and Buckley.
Join the club at Crystal Lake, U.S. Home's most exciting new development, with air-conditioned racquetball courts, lakefront views, jogging trails with Vita stations, heated pools and jacuzzis, and tennis courts.
All this priced from the low 60s.
Join the active, involved club at Crystal Lake, 1/2 mile north of Gladiolus off Summerlin Road, and see why Southwest Florida calls us home.
When 100 nursery school kids were exposed to spinal meningitis, 2 pharmacists from Eckerd Drugs worked overtime against time itself, mixing enough antibiotic dose by dose for each and every child. And through their dedication and concern, they stopped an epidemic before it started. To an Eckerd pharmacist, nothing's more important than your health.
And this is great timing.
Here we
The
go.
Fort Myers
Perfect
High
timing.
School Band,
They are the-
1987 Honor Band.
They are the official festival band, and here they come, the marching Green Wave, 110 members strong.
And they sound good tonight.
And let's listen, because they are good. Lopez just walked by in front of the camera.
There's drum major there in the front of the group is Kim Driscoll.
110 members of the Honor Band at Fort Myers High School.
warm round of applause tonight from the crowd here in downtown Fort Myers for the 1987 Honor Band in the Edison Pageant Parade of Light, Fort Myers High School.
Boy, they sound good. Nice for us to listen a little bit.
That's right. They really have a good sound. Now, I guess maybe people don't know, but this band has been selected as Spirit of America Band at the Bicentennial, meaning it is the top band of the festivities and essentially the top band in the country. And here we come with the Royal Court now.
Because this is one of the highlights of the overall pageant, the selection of the Edison Pageant Court of Royalty.
The Queen this year, Susie Willis, and the King, Nicholas Russell Thompson.
We might just mention that the new Queen is the daughter of the 1965 Queen of the pageant, Margie Willis, who is also the executive director, and the King is the son of Judge Thompson, Jim, and Kathy. And
the tradition goes on.
Yes, marvelous people and marvelous young people.
And here's a friend of ours.
That's right. We have the Honorary Grand Marshal, Mark McEwen, weatherman for the morning program on CBS Network.
We had a chance to meet Mark yesterday when he was in town, did his weathercast live by satellite from Fort Myers Yacht Base. Put Fort Myers on the map for us yesterday.
And I think it's important to mention that the travel arrangements for Mark, that was a gift from Jurassic Travel. They flew him down here and will fly he and his wife back home, and that was their contribution to the Edison Pageant. And look at he's
Who's he thinking right now?
Jurassic Travel and Delta Airlines bringing Mark down for us.
And I think he's looking up to the sky, too,
I
thanking
think
for
so.
the nice weather of higher authority tonight.
That's right.
Another of our commercial floats tonight, the Panama Jack float, the theme Sun and Surf.
And thank goodness it's a warm night. I remember some pageants when we had them in fur coats.
Yes.
Those were not fun parades.
No, the weather's perfect so far.
Yes.
We're going to see some very colorful floats tonight. There are a lot of traditional tropical colors and themes and some very unique floats. Some very unique.
Isn't that a gorgeous float? That really is.
Now, some of these floats, we might point out, have taken part in other parades, most notably the Orange Bowl Parade over on the East Coast.
Many of them have come over from Miami. I know the commercial floats have.
That's right.
And we have Parade Marshal Mike Gill and his wife, Pat.
And Mike has been a pageant worker on the parade for years and years.
So he's busy. Maybe, is he breathing a little sigh of relief yet, or not quite?
Well, you breathe a sigh of relief when the parade starts.
Uh-huh.
And then you worry that whether your whole section is going to get through or not.
Here comes another marching band from Port Charlotte High School.
With a straight superior rating.
131 members strong.
Looking very smart in their crisp red and white uniforms.
Port Charlotte High School.
Keith Kerner is the director for this band.
They sound good.
Here are some of the antiques we were talking about a few minutes ago. Aren't these beauties?
This is the Edison home car.
Aren't they terrific? I was looking at them during the series. They are just beautiful.
That car was a gift from Henry Ford because they were great friends. Henry Ford admired Thomas Edison tremendously, and so he gave him that Ford, and that's what's been down here.
What year is that, Charlie? Any idea?
That one there is about a 1930. That's an old model there. Well, that's Sam Galloway Jr.
1906.
Yes, 1906. Sam drives that every year in the parade, and it always makes it.
There's the Hart's Dairy antique truck. They haven't delivered milk in one of those in quite a while.
Oh, and that's one of the first woodies, as they call the station.
And who's that on the back, the fellow with the big feet?
Brought his own mic.
Sure did.
Here comes the Hart's Dairy truck, delivering goodies for the crowd tonight.
Nice.
I hope those cartons are sealed tight.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there comes the police department.
1925.
And here we have
Our Congressman.
Tommy Mack and his wife Priscilla.
I can tell you a story about that. When Skip Buffalis, Congressman Buffalis, rode in the parade, that was the year I was a pageant president. We went out to get in our cars, and they had Skip in a Lincoln convertible, and we had a Ford Ferrari, and Skip said, "No way are you putting me in a Lincoln. You ride in the Lincoln, the congressman will ride in a Ford. He didn't want any problems.
He's thinking ahead.
Yes.
Oh, here's a pretty one.
Now we have the Edison Junior Royalty Float. And the queen here is Jade Elisa Sandlin, and the king is Ramsey Foles Smith. And this is important for the young kids. They do
Ramsey
enjoy
Smith.
this, yes.
For them, many of them, the tradition begins here. This will be the first
That's exactly
Edison
right.
pageant for some of these youngsters, and
They're
they'll continue to do it for years.
They
It's the
are
first
cute.
exposure.
Look at that.
Look, aren't they
They're
cute?
very serious about this.
Oh,
isn't
yes.
it?
Oh, yes, they
Isn't that cute?
Good.
Their families have been involved with this parade for years.
That's right.
Now, this is the Orange Bowl float from Miami, New Horizons in the Sun. And this is a tribute to the many Spanish explorers who passed through Florida and the rest of our part of the country.
The theme tonight, Discovery of Florida, Spanish discoveries. The colors green, gold, and white tonight.
This is the Orange Bowl salute to the Edison Pageant of Light.
Very pretty.
Third place in the major award division tonight among the floats.
There's a great deal of cooperation among all the festivals in the state of Florida with the floats, and our pageant float goes to the Orange Bowl, the pageant float goes up to other festivals around the state.
And the Liberty Bell Band from Hanover, Pennsylvania. They've marched in 26 parades. That was in 1986, and another 22 performances so far.
That is a lot of parades.
They do a lot of traveling.
Look at him.
I think you can see it on television. There's some very red faces. I think they did get some sun while they were down here.
Taking advantage of the good weather. It's cold in Hanover, Pennsylvania.
Very cold tonight.
Now, a lot of these bands from out of town will get on the buses right after the show tonight, and they will be on the road, on the interstates all night long, getting back in time for class on Monday morning.
Many of these kids have been working all year long to save the money, to earn the money, to get down here for this parade.
Charlie, any idea, just rough guesstimate on what it takes to put one of these bands down?
Of course, depending on the size, it can go up as high as $100,000 to bring a band here, and you really have to work hard to raise that kind of money.
It's amazing. Listening to the Hanover, Pennsylvania band, the Liberty Bells.
But this is quite an honor because this is one of the major parades in the country, so bands do want to come down here.
You're never too young to be in a parade.
That's right.
Good concentration tonight. And we have the Sheridan float tonight, Harvesting the Depths. Beautiful float. The theme this year, Living Underwater the Sea.
A couple of underwater marine harvesters there, building today for a better tomorrow from the folks at Sheridan.
Looking at the harvesters, I think there's a great future for underwater activity.
Yes, I'm going to go home and get my bathing suit right now. The Harvester 10 on the back of the float. Oh, here comes, this is a nice one. I saw this one earlier today, getting ready for the parade. This is from Sears.
A little fire, a big discovery, this year's theme.
But after watching those girls and seeing these things, it's just sort of the sublime to the ridiculous.
We're going traces back to the beginning of fire, cave days to the present day with the fire engines and the pump.
Full of large cave people there and some...
And this is the first place winner. You saw the trophy right there in the commercial division.
The Neanderthal theme wins every time, Charlie.
Yes.
That's one of the more unique floats in the...
It really is. It's very clever.
Yes. Everything's very colorful.
You know, they
Going
won
very
first
well.
place on the commercial
First
division.
place, that's right.
We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes, but as we told you before, don't worry, we're still taping everything that's going by right now, so stay with us.
What does the weatherman do when the water he gets hit with is from the sky and not from the pool? I batten down the hatches with roll-down insulating shutters from Shutter World. They're the beautiful way to protect your home from heavy weather, burglars, and the sun's heat. You can control them from inside, either manually or electrically. They'll stop water penetration even in high winds and provide extra insulation. Burglars don't stand a chance against this tough PVC. Nothing can beat Shutter World, not weather, not intruders, not the others.
What you've made it. Concord Watch.
Jewelry you can afford because you know where to buy. Thalheimer's Jewelers in the Bell Tower shops.
Florida is the Sunshine State, and here in Southwest Florida, we get more than our share of it. But it's that same sunshine that's so hard on paint, and that's why more people trust FlexBond. FlexBond paints are made right here in Southwest Florida, especially for our subtropical climate. So don't settle for anything less than the original Florida formula paints from FlexBond, because we're still here when everyone else's promises just fade away.
I think we all recognize this one,
That's
Gilligan's
right.
Island. Look at them, they look terrific.
And it's just like looking at old friends, isn't it?
Yeah, these are lookalikes.
Right.
These are lookalike winners.
Jim Reef back there.
There's Bob Denver from Gilligan's Island
Right
himself.
Yep.
And the lookalikes, the captain and the crew.
That guy
Mary Ann, the professor, and who's that? Whoa, that's Jim Reef.
That's not a lookalike, that's the real
No, that's
thing.
the real
Jim Reef.
thing.
Chief meteorologist Jim Reef having a good time tonight.
But that Bob Denver, he doesn't grow old.
No, he looks
He's like
great.
Jimmy Nelson. He must use hair dye. And what we have coming here now is the YMCA Indian Guide program, a very vital part of the YMCA program.
We beat our tom-toms for Tom is this year's theme.
And it's good to have the YMCA back and active again in this community. They have a fine new facility and just doing a wonderful job.
They've done a lot of work to get that.
They provide a great service for the youngsters in our area.
500 man-hours went into this float.
And what's the float made of? Wood, cardboard, paint, and sweat. Big word, sweat.
So I guess, Charlie, you'd know they were involved, what, for 10 years or so?
Oh, yes, yes.
Wise Owl.
Now, this is one of the family floats. Now, this is a family has built this. 4 families combined energy and talent to design and build the float. 120 man-hours went into this.
The Sarlos, the Jacksons.
The Lindevalls, 2 Sarlo families. They told me they've been all born and bred here in Fort Myers, and they're proud to take part of the tradition of the Edison Parade.
And if you could see under that thing, it's probably powered by a Sarlo mower.
I talked to this little youngster this afternoon. I asked him if he was going to be awake tonight, and he assured me he would be. And by gosh, he is.
Yeah, the children are of the families who designed the float. They're all riding on the float this evening.
They're having a great time tonight.
Little Miss Muffet and Little Boy Blue, Bo Peep and the gang.
Very clever.
Brings back fond memories, doesn't it, Pat?
That's right.
And here we go now. We've got a new one coming.
Girl Scouts of the World, celebrating 75 years.
Tropic Isles Elementary Brownie Troop 295 and J. Colon English Elementary Junior Troop 139 are the sponsors.
Can you believe there are 1,000 mini lights on that cake? 1,000.
Youngsters dressed in costumes, traditional costumes from different countries around the world, highlighting their theme tonight.
The girls made their own costumes.
Very nice.
I remember doing that in Girl Scouts. That's a lot of work. Don't let them kid you.
Cookie Magic. The Girl Scout cookies.
Can you get by a year without buying them?
No, I couldn't possibly.
The Girl Scout cookies are as much a tradition as the Edison Pageant of Light, I think.
Everybody has their favorite.
That's right. And this is the first time they've been in the parade. It's sponsored by Lucky Lady and Gents, Mike Irby's Custom Floors.
Punta Gorda, Charlotte High School right now, coming up.
This is the Silver King Band, the Tarpons of Charlotte County, the oldest high school in Charlotte County.
It's 105 members in this band. And this is the 20th consecutive year of participating in the pageant.
That's dedication.
And I can remember 20 years ago, we thought that's wonderful. We're going to get an out-of-town band come down here.
That was far away then.
That's right.
band is equipped with electric guitars, electric organs.
Things sure have changed, haven't they, Jim?
Since we were in high school.
The Silver King Band under the direction of Sherry Acosta Log from Charlotte County.
Blue and the gold sound good tonight.
Yes, they do.
And during the festivities this week, many of these bands have been competing with each other for top honors in the marching band classification. All members of the Florida Band Association, some of the out-of-towners joining in. The youngsters have a great time when they come here for the parade.
Nice camera work tonight. We're getting to see a lot.
Yes.
The crowd is growing. There are quite a number more people there now than when we started about a half an hour ago.
And this one is hi-ho, hi-ho. It's off to Edisonia we go.
The Seven Dwarfs escort Snow White and her prince through enchanted forest of flowers and also friendly forest critters.
Heading to the magical kingdom of Edisonia.
Something like 90 hours going in to build this float. You can tell it looks good.
And 8 families went together to do it.
The little dwarfs are having a fine time up there tonight. Some of them grew some beards for this.
That's right. Very nice.
And off to Edisonia they go.
Singing all the way.
Oh, a whale coming up.
Now, this was the Children's Parade winner as the most outstanding float.
Many of you may have seen the Children's Parade broadcast on Wink TV today at noon. And as Charlie said, the most outstanding float, a whale of a tail.
And look at the eyes.
Looked beautiful this afternoon. I saw it when they were getting ready. Just amazing.
Is he going to grab onto that hook, or is he going to make it through the parade without getting caught?
Yeah, he's not going to fall for that this year. Bayshore Elementary coming up. Cub Scouts made a pirate ship for this entry this year.
A very large cannon making its way down the middle of the parade route tonight.
Now, this is their second year in the parade. I hope he doesn't turn that thing away from the booth before he fires.
I don't know. He's turned that around a few times. I'm going to duck if he comes our way.
This is Pack 22 from Bayshore Elementary.
Pirates of the Caloosahatchee.
A lot of work went into this one.
There are a lot of pirates on there.
Looks like the Errol Flynn movie I saw on television this afternoon.
You watched TV this afternoon?
A lot of would-be pirates in that group.
Look at that face with a little scarf on.
They don't look too mean, do they? No.
Do they?
And here we have a huge cake with 75-year logo on the top. Scout uniforms represented back to 1914.
Girl Scouts theme this year, Tradition with a Future. 75 years of caring.
And did I read the other day where they're changing the color of the uniforms now, going to a blue?
Is that right?
I believe so. It's maybe the last year to see that color on the uniforms.
So the brownies?
Of course, this is the year of Wink TV's special emphasis on children. We're carrying a number of special programs this year under the banner of For Kids' Sake, and you can see that tonight is one of those very special nights. There is something for kids of all ages in tonight's parade.
And here are the Elks pulling for kids. And this is from Lodge 1288.
A Carousel of Caring.
And it's carrying the exalted ruler, Bob Mattern. There's Bob right there.
This is a beautiful float. I saw it this afternoon. It took a woman 2.5 months to build the horse in the center of that float. Just beautiful.
More to come in our live broadcast of the Edison Pageant Grand Parade of Lights. Stay with us.
People who are aware of quality electronics know that Yamaha equipment is revered. It represents the ultimate in research and performance, always striving for the best. Now, for the first time, Stereo World will make it more affordable, offering the first annual Yamaha sale. Every Yamaha item in stock has been reduced, some as much as 50%. This $1,300 complete system is now just $699. Yamaha, the finest stereo equipment in the world, is now within your grasp at Stereo World, Fort Myers, and Naples.
There's just nothing better than going fishing early in the morning. It's peaceful, and it's sure pretty. If we're lucky, some things will never change, and that includes layers. Oh, we've been fishing buddies for 30 years. Layers is right there with good advice and all kinds of gear, everything you'd ever need. When you're wanting better fishing, you can count on Layers.
The beauty of real rattan comes to life at Creative Rattan, the original rattan manufacturer of Southwest Florida. With 40 years of family tradition dedicated to making fine furniture, the value is apparent the moment you see it, but years from now, you'll really know its true worth. Visit their factory showrooms and discover the timeless beauty of handcrafted furniture. Creative Rattan, Business 41, just north of the Shell Factory in North Fort Myers.
A little bit of the Marine Corps
Here's
band.
the Marine Corps band, and let's listen while they go by.
This crowd is on its feet for this band.
This is a smart outfit.
Brought the crowd to their feet. They're excited.
We just had the Sheridan Harbor Place float building to new heights. This is second place in the children's parade in the commercial division.
Kids designed the float.
That's
a lot
right.
of kids getting doing a little elbow work in here,
Yes,
getting
a lot of it. Well, that's
a lot
what
of
the parade is really
participation.
all about.
They
It's
did a little
kids.
comparative shopping, too, for the materials on the float, so they're learning economics young for
That's
that
right.
one.
That's right. This is what it's all about. It's for kids.
Now, Charlie, before we went to the last break, you mentioned that as the flag went up on the fireworks display, they are already entering
They're
the
now
stadium.
entering the stadium show. That's how they timed this thing right down the line.
Bayshore Cloggers. They're doing a lot of dancing tonight. How about you, Charlie? Can you clog?
Are you kidding me?
In good old-fashioned Southwest Florida country here.
When I was a president, we had to go down with the square dancers, and they weren't clogging then, thank heavens. They were just doing square dances.
So you didn't have to do that. They're
That's
good.
right. They are good. They are good. They're very good. There's the Assistant Parade Marshal, Sam Whitaker. Sam has been on this parade 23 years. I can verify because I worked with Sam on this parade. He's got a white mustache now. He didn't used to have that.
This is the Lee Middle School and the Sheridan float building to new heights, decorated in their blue and white.
85% of the students, they did the work themselves, and they won second place in the children's parade in the commercial division, Lee Middle.
This is rocking to the beat of Edisonia.
Edison Starship. Little rock band. I wonder what Edison would think about that. He'd probably like it.
I'd like to know. I didn't know.
This float won honorable mention in the children's parade. The music being performed by the Edison Starship Band.
Debbie Smith from Uptown Hair Designers, lending a hand.
You know, you ask a good question. Somebody has speculated one time, Tom Edison, how would he regard all this? He was a very simple individual, and he never wanted this celebration to get too large, and that's why the pageant has always tried to keep the thing contained. A couple of years we had opportunities to go network with it, But we always felt that Mr. Edison would not have wanted that, so we try to keep it small, keep it local.
This entry from Glendale Federal, the universal language.
I guess we can talk about that. That is a lovely float from Glendale Federal.
Plenty of lights on that one, Charlie.
Well, I'll say.
A few people dressed in togas. Again, if it had been cold tonight, they would have been in a little bit of trouble.
That's exactly right. Another fun thing about the parade is when you're on a float, you see all of your friends along the sidelines. Got some jugglers.
Parade officials have to do a little juggling to get all of this together.
Can you imagine what this... Well, you can imagine. You had to do this.
Oh, yes.
Here is one of our out-of-state bands coming up right behind the jugglers from Vestal, New York.
The Golden Bears.
Their fourth trip to the Edison
That's right.
pageant.
They are a big supporter of the Edison Pageant of Light. The fourth trip for the Vestal New York band.
And they're well known throughout the Northeast. The band's gotten some of the highest ratings and awards throughout there, that part of the country.
They've won the band competition 1 or 2 years down here.
110 members strong. Let's listen.
Once again to go to a commercial break where we remind you that we are taping everything that's happening while we're in the commercial. We won't miss a thing tonight. Stay with us.
We'll be right back. Don't go away. Florida is the Sunshine State, and here in Southwest Florida we get more than our share of it. But it's that same sunshine that's so hard on paint. And that's why more people trust FlexBond. FlexBond paints are made right here in Southwest Florida, especially for our subtropical climate. So don't settle for anything less than the original Florida formula paints from FlexBond, because we're still here when everyone else's promises just fade away.
It's amazing how people choose a doctor, but really, what other choice do you have? Now, there's a better way. Cape Coral Hospital's Physician Referral Service. One phone call connects you to a source of qualified doctors. And because all our doctors undergo strict review, you know you're choosing from the very best. So for qualified doctor referrals, call Cape Coral Hospital. Don't leave your health care to chance. Cape Coral Hospital, your total health care resource.
The Araba Shrine going by right now. They sound terrific, the bagpipes.
That's right. And this is a big tradition in the pageant parade, the Araba Shrine's participation.
And we are, like to remind you that we are broadcasting in stereo tonight. And the parade just wouldn't be the same without the many units from the Araba Shrine Temple. We're going to see several of them passing by us here pretty soon.
Wonderful, wonderful people.
A man never stood so tall as when he stoops to help a child, and they do a lot of work for kids. The pipe band just going by. Of course, the Shriners doing such tremendous work with their children's hospitals, the burn centers, flying young burn victims to hospitals all over the country for needed treatment. They do a tremendous job in Southwest Florida.
And they say it very simply, because we care.
It's a good motto. And they have their serious side, but they have their fun side. And here comes
there's part of the fun side.
This is the unit called the Jokers. You never know what's going to happen when a Shriner comes up next to you.
This is very elaborate. If you can see the long line, the chanters, the jokers, the Tin Lizzies, the sprint car. It's a parade within a parade, really.
It is. The Shriners are a parade within a parade.
He likes the camera.
Right behind the jokers are the chanters. Will be coming up on your screen in a moment, performing their rendition of God Bless America for the crowd tonight.
And I wonder how many miles those chanters have covered in all the years of parade participation.
These fellows put a lot of work into all their various projects throughout the year. Now we have another little tune. They're singing for us tonight.
Do I dare say it? Not a drop of rain yet.
How many fingers are you keeping crossed? There's somebody getting a little bit impatient.
Yes. And here are the Tin Lizzies, the famous Tin Lizzies.
This is a precision driving team.
Yes, it is.
Whoop. Wouldn't you know, just as I say that. It's kind of like Pat Summerall and John Madden saying, so-and-so has never fumbled in 28 games, and then he blows the game in the last second.
You can count on it.
That poor Shriner is going to get razzed when he gets back.
It's going to be a tough week. He's going to have a long week.
Well, these fellows have to be very, very good at what they're doing because, you know, one misstep with that and they go into the crowd, you could have a real problem. So they're very, very careful, very well trained.
This isn't something they just play at. They've been practicing this. One of their many routines and one of the many parades and festivals they take part in over the course of the year.
Can you imagine the envious little boys along that parade route looking at those Tin Lizzies, and that's what they want for Christmas.
A lot of little girls, too. I think that looks like fun.
Santa Claus is going to get some special gift lists this year.
That's right.
The crowd loves this.
Well, it sort of looks like 41 on a busy afternoon.
In front of the mall.
This is 41 on a good day.
On a good day.
They're moving.
The kids love this.
Look, I think they're pushing the one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they're pushing him off.
Uh-oh, he's in trouble. He did something.
Call out the Tin Lizzie tow truck.
Here comes the paddy wagon.
Lady Polly, sprint car coming up. Do you want us to try to insert these so we can see?
I think they're making some arrests here, or either he escaped. They got him.
The Shriners always get their man.
I feel safer now that he's behind bars.
Now this is the Lady Polly sprint car, and that is Jim Foster behind the wheel, and that's just no ordinary dog. That's Teddy, his co-driver. Teddy actually has red toenails to help him grab the steering wheel there. That's an authentic sprint car.
That is some contraption. Here's the Oriental Band. I'm sort of glad we're sitting in here. That is noisy out there beside that.
Again, this is all part of the Araba Temple Shriners. Over 10 units participating. Everybody individual to very individual.
That's right, exactly. That's a new addition. I've not seen that in the parade before.
The Araba Director's Staff Fire Truck.
Same-day fire company, we make house calls.
But not too many, we hope.
That's unusual.
Always plenty of clowns around when the Araba Shriners are in town.
I think they always steal the show in their own way. They make sure of it.
Yes, they do. You cannot ignore the Shriners when they're around.
Another member of the director's float.
I believe this is the last, no, I was going to say this was the last unit, but now we have the Fort Myers Beach Shrimp Boat coming up.
Is he looking sad? Because he wanted it to rain, apparently, one of the few people.
Pat, I think he's looking for you.
Let's join Randy Smith right now, live at Edison Stadium in Fort Myers. Randy.
Jim and Pat, you guys look great. The parade looks great, and so does the Grand Marshal, Mark McEwen. What do you think about this?
You know, this has been a lot of fun. It still is a lot of fun. I've been praying ever since the parade started that it doesn't rain. Because, see, if it rains, there's one guy in town in trouble. Me. You make it just wonderful. Wonderful.
You make a fine Grand Marshal. I heard the big cheer for you when you came in. This is terrific.
Thank you very much. Like I said, this is my first time to Fort Myers, but it won't be my last.
Terrific. Come back to see us. And here comes the rest of the parade. Mark McEwen.
Just in time for the Naples Band from Naples High School.
The Golden Eagles, 160 members, 24 consecutive years in the Edison Parade, so no doubt about their dedication.
That's right. And they came up here back 24 years ago when it was a 2-lane road on US 41.
It was a long trip.
It surely was a long trip.
Naples High School, a superior ranking in the festival the last 18 years.
That's right, an outstanding musical organization.
Yes, they are. Glad they made the trip. They sound strong.
And right behind the Golden Eagles from Naples High School, we have
the Strawberry Festival.
This is from Plant City, a representation from the Strawberry Festival and Hillsborough County Fair, and that is Queen Rebecca Lewis.
It's a big festival. It runs from March 5th through the 15th, along with the Hillsborough County Fair. It is quite an event. Anything strawberry that you want.
Yes. The strawberry capital of the world.
Food is wonderful.
The Queen and her court from the Strawberry Festival.
They're winning second place, a major award.
And this is Southern Nights, the next float from the American Businesswomen's Association.
A number of Southern bells on that float tonight.
One of the ladies told me they're over-the-hill Southern bells, but I don't know. They all look pretty young to me.
They look terrific.
Very attractive.
Johnny Zielinski, Shirley Eaton, Ann Durden, Vicki Smith, Vivian Fosgate, and Irene Livernotch on the float tonight.
They do a lot of work. They raise money for scholarships for needy women. They say needy, smart women. They try to support a 3-year scholarship, $2,000 scholarships, and they've been doing this for something like 14 years, very dedicated to helping women in Southwest Florida.
And talk about dedication, The American farmer.
This is my all-time favorite float because after the parade, you take this one home and you eat it. This is filled with fresh winter produce from the Southwest Florida area.
I got to look at some of this produce today. I have never seen eggplant looking that healthy. Tomatoes, cucumbers, everything that you want. This is one of the best floats. I know it's one of your favorites, Jim.
The Young Farmers and Ranchers Association of Lee County doing a fine job.
And nobody flew that stuff in. That's all grown right here.
Let's go now to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
All the Lazy Boy styles and fabrics have come to Larry Norris. Get our low introductory prices now on hundreds of Lazy Boy recliners, swivel rockers, and sleep sofas. This high-fashion swivel rocker, only $1.99. This beautiful recliner, reduced to $2.99. And this dramatic sleep sofa, just $4.99. See all the latest colors and fashion fabrics in our huge Lazy Boy department at Larry Norris Furniture Gallery and Wall Unit Shop, Fort Myers, next to the Brown Derby.
I'm Mort Goldberg. If you've been injured in an accident through the fault of another, you need experienced legal counsel to represent and advise you with the insurance companies involved. At any of our offices in Fort Myers, Naples, or Cape Coral, you'll receive the benefit of over 24 years of experience in insurance and personal injury-related claims. Our initial consultation on these matters is without charge, and there's no fee until we are successful in your behalf. Our law firm can best serve you if contacted as soon as possible after the accident.
Join the club at Crystal Lake, U.S. Home's most exciting new development, with air-conditioned racquetball courts, lakefront views, jogging trails with Vita stations, heated pools and jacuzzis, and tennis courts.
All this priced from the low 60s.
Join the active, involved club at Crystal Lake, 1/2 mile north of Gladiolus off Summerlin Road, and see why Southwest Florida calls us home.
Things are moving now. Some beautiful floats going by.
We can see the parade boat over our shoulder. You can see it in the camera shot right now. We have kind of a bird's eye view up here in the back of our truck, and this is another one of the many beautiful floats going by
From
here.
St. Petersburg, the Festival of the States.
12
and
kids.
This is the Mayor's Award, first place winner.
That's right, 12 kids from ages 7 to 15, all dressed in red, white, and blue. Again, first place winners, the paddle boat.
This is a Flex Bond paint float. Isn't that pretty?
Boy.
And listen.
Looks like the surf out on Sanibel.
Yes, it does.
Somebody's coming up who's making some great noise.
Flexbond theme, Sun and Sail.
And I think the band we're listening to right now is the Bishop Verreau Band.
The Vikings. The black, the gold, and the white.
Another one of our outstanding local Southwest Florida bands.
$35 members, and they're putting out a very good sound, just like the big bands.
Edison Community College coming up in the University of South Florida. Don't clown around, they say. Get an education.
Good advice.
Can't argue with
That's right.
that advice tonight.
Not at all. You know, this really is one of the unique experiments in education, is where you have the junior college literally sharing the same campus with a university, and the idea is now catching fire, I understand, all over the country. This was one of the first.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's very, very attractive.
A rather large clown in the background there following this float.
This is one of my favorite floats coming up, too. Heading towards Southeast Bank.
This is an imaginative float coming up right behind
look
this
at this
very
guy.
tall
Look at this
clown.
one.
It's almost as tall as John Bafar.
Or Jim Reef. This is a great one.
Look at this.
Look
From
at the
small
mechanics on
beginnings
this.
is the theme. Isn't that terrific? How far we've come from mythical flight to the sun. That's their theme this year.
That is pretty.
Icarus would have been proud of us to see us soaring through the skies today.
Now, they've been involved in the parade since 1974, and you can tell they really know what they're doing.
They surely do. That is the mythical Icarus from Greek mythology.
Cooling off maybe tonight.
Yes. And here comes the Marshal's Award from Lee Memorial Hospital.
What a patriotic theme this is.
First place to Lee Memorial Hospital, the winning edge.
No mistaking their colors tonight. Red, white, and blue all the way.
And how many lights would you think are on this float?
I wouldn't want to have to count, Charlie.
Well, our information tells us 2,000 lights.
It looks beautiful. First played in the independent float division tonight. Their theme is Our Family Caring for Your Family.
And they're holding up the trophy that they've won. There it is right there.
1,200 man-hours to build that float.
A well-deserved trophy indeed.
Yes, indeed.
The winning edge. That's spectacular. They look good in the daytime, but at night, beautiful.
And it makes such a difference in this parade, the lights on at night.
We keep stressing that. I know that people were talking today about some of the floats they considered not lighting as they had done before, and everyone was encouraging them to do anything, but don't diminish the number of lights you've had.
Here are the winners from the road race that you saw earlier tonight. They were part of the 5K run that has become a tradition in the pageant. Those are the winners.
And here comes the Sunbank, World of Knowledge. All the various flags of the various countries.
When they were asked how many lights they had, they just said many.
Many.
Which is a lot easier than counting them all, because there are a lot of lights on that float.
And Uncle Sam's on board, the Statue of Liberty. Many people in their native costumes.
And here we come from Immokalee, the Chamber of Commerce Harvest Festival.
Another float loaded with fresh winter produce grown right here in Southwest Florida, fresh-cut gladiolas, fresh-cut flowers.
And we're looking at the Harvest Festival Queen, Loretta Miller, this year's Junior Miss, Grundy Starling, and Little Miss, Jennifer Watley.
And as Charlie said earlier, none of this stuff is flown in. It's all homegrown.
That's right. And can you imagine what's going to happen to it when they get to the end of the parade route?
A large salad.
But I'm also
I hope we're there.
You know, it's interesting to know that now a lot of this parade is disbanded and the people have gone home because they've been through the stadium now and they're done for the night, and some of them are headed home while we still watch the parade down
Charlie,
here.
at what point would you say we are right now?
Pretty close, I would think, to maybe even halfway or so.
About halfway?
Just about.
Here's
And
the Riverdale
listen
High
here.
School Marching Raider Band.
120 members.
Dawn Adams is the drum majorette. Well, I guess you could really say drum major, though, don't you? It's not a drum majorette.
Twisting and shouting on down the parade route, the Riverdale Raiders. Here's a fellow that's put in some hours on this parade, coming up right behind the Raiders, Charlie.
Oh, yes, Tom Orthman and his wife, Dottie. Yes, Tom is the assistant parade marshal.
What is Tom listening to right now? I'm sure you know what that conversation's about, or something like it.
Oh, he's getting the reports up and down the parade route of what the status is of the parade. You always have to stay in touch.
He looks like he's happy. Things are going well.
That's a happy smile.
Yes. Happy smile.
Smile of relief.
Here's a different harvest theme.
McClendon Drugs.
Got a little bit of everything on there, representing some of the produce grown around southwest Florida, a twirling tomato and
a carrot, a dancing carrot.
Clarinet playing carrot and a fiddle playing cucumber. Very talented vegetables.
Celebrate the harvest, that's what they call it.
And we'll be back in a few minutes.
Right back, don't go away.
Introducing Wendy's new Big Classic hamburger. The soft Kaiser bun, the fat tomatoes, the fresh toppings, the beef. Wendy's new Big Classic.
This is the good stuff.
And here's the good stuff special.
It's Wendy's Big Classic combo offer. Big Classic, regular fries, and medium soft drink, all for only $1.99.
Just ask for the Big Classic combo.
And bring a big appetite.
The Big Classic combo, only $1.99.
This is the good stuff.
Big fish like to live in bad places. That's how they get to be big fish. Take on those lunkers with Trilene, Berkeley's extra strong premium monofilament. Trilene resists the punishing effects of rocks and stumps. Trilene is the line to use when you want to get back out of what you just threw into. And if you have to go get them...
I got them. You know, it's hard to believe a line this thin can be that tough. That's why I use Trilene.
Trilene, America's extra strong fishing line.
Tonight from Mona Lisa. Doesn't that sound pretty?
Doesn't it? They're good friends from the Mona Lisa. I don't think they're tossing out pizzas there. It looks like they have little chef's hats they're throwing out. Although some of our crew would probably go for a pizza right about now.
I think we might be down there too.
I'm all for that.
And right behind the Mona Lisa, Light to Future Health.
Single day surgery. The AMI float.
And here comes the Ford float from Sam Galloway Ford. Of course, it's got the theme of old-style cars with the grill, the engine, the running board, the Arabs of the 1890s.
You've got a barbershop quartet on the front of that float, Charlie.
That's right.
Old-fashioned music.
Little running board, the grill.
Galloway Ford, of course, has been part of the Fort Myers business scene for many, many years.
For 60 years, and I can remember when they built that dealership down there on that corner, everybody said they were crazy to go that far south of town.
Now what do they say?
It's a hard move.
Now they say, I've known Sam for years, told him it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this, Royal Palm Square Shopping Center. That's an attractive float.
Their theme this year, Charlie, the good life in Southwest Florida. All of the riders tonight wearing fashions from Royal Palm Square.
And that does sum it up. This is the good life.
It certainly is. Tonight, just a small portion of what we share down here on a year-long basis.
Oh, this Ponce de Leon Conquistadores from Charlotte County.
These fellows were at the station the other day in full regalia, swords and all.
Tonight, copying the Santa Maria.
Now, this is, I think, a fairly, that's right, first year in the parade.
That's right. It took something like 300 man-hours to build this one.
Another fine marching band entry from out of state, the Sevier County High School Band from Sevier, Tennessee.
And do you know who is from Sevier, Tennessee? Their most famous resident and who graduated from this high school is Dolly Parton.
I thought you were going to tell me it was Jim. And there is a big difference. This is their first trip down here for the Edison Pageant Parade. We're just delighted to have them.
Yes, we are.
And listen to this sound.
Rocky Top, Tennessee. I think that was a Dolly Parton hit years ago, as a matter of fact.
You're right, and the fans, I should say, the crowd out here just loved it when they struck up that.
What do you think of these uniforms?
Aren't they classic?
Some of these bands have more members in them than I had in my high school in Oneida, New York. I'm amazed.
Well, you know, we talk a lot about football teams and basketball teams, but these are the real performers in high schools, the musicians and the bands. And here's Burdines.
Another one of our major commercial floats in tonight's parade.
Crystal's the magic element.
There are hundreds of computerized lights, and they are blinking in program sequences.
And the riders are all members of the team board.
A little bit of future.
This one.
And in the Gasparilla Parade in Tampa, this float won first place in the retailers division. That is a stunning float with silver and blue.
The parade's moving along pretty well tonight. Occasionally, as they make the turn just a block or so down from us, it stalls a little bit, and that's when you see us sitting on a float or one particular band. But all in all, Charlie, it's moving pretty well.
It's moving very well, and actually now that down that corner used to be a real problem. We used to have floats with outriggers, and then of course when the outriggers would come around, they had a crew down there that would take the outriggers off, move the float past the bridge, put the outriggers back on. Since that time, we say no more outriggers on floats, but that was some job if you got on that crew.
And here comes a popular representation of one of our most famous attractions in Florida, Busch Gardens.
And there's the Python. You ever ridden that thing up there?
No, thank you very much. I'm busy tonight.
Once. How about you?
I've done it twice, once with my wife Joyce, and then the second time by myself.
You were brave. I did it once. Preserve our wildlife, this year's theme.
Somebody said preserve our wildlife, throw a party.
So there's some wildlife down at the stadium at Fort Myers High School, Edison Stadium. Randy, you having a good time down there?
Randy, what are you doing? There are a lot of people in the crowd. I guess Randy's a little busy. He's having so much fun. We don't have
part
him
of the
right
wildlife
now.
down there tonight, I think.
And we're back to our floats now. Bride on Parade.
Now this is a real wedding taking place on this float tonight, complete with hearts, bride and groom, the whole bit.
Johnny and Carla are getting married tonight, and the notary public tonight is Shirley, marrying the two of them.
They have just done it.
They came down the parade route a little while ago in their limousines.
Okay, fella, break it up. That's enough.
Johnny and Carla, husband and wife.
And if this has to
moments
be a
ago.
first for the pageant, I don't recall anybody ever getting married en route.
Well, it happened on the Johnny Carson show. I mean, you know, gotta come up with something different.
I don't recall that we've been invited to attend a reception. Now that is different.
Another one of our fine local high school marching bands, the Seahawks from Cape Coral.
This is a big band, 204 members, getting the superior rating highest for marching in concert at the Florida Bandmasters Festival in the past 5 years.
You know, we talk about growth of Southwest Florida. This band started out 5 years ago with 35 members.
And look at them now.
That's right. And 5 years later, they go down to the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Now, that is some kind of progress.
Let's listen to the Seahawk Marching Band. representatives of Southwest Florida.
What a sound.
Great bunch of youngsters.
In 5 years?
In 5 years. Isn't that remarkable?
That is.
We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Old Bruno is more than just a friend. He's also my protector. But he can't protect my home against bad weather, so I've installed roll-down shutters from Shutter World, the roll shutter leader. They'll stop water penetration even in high winds, give extra insulation, and stop burglars cold with crash helmet tough PVC. Remember, nothing can beat Shutter World, not weather, not intruders, not the others.
Read all about it. Extra. Subaru gives deals to dealers. Hurry, great deals right now.
Factory incentives mean your Subaru dealer has up to $1,200 to make great deals on great wheels. So right now is the time to make a great deal on select models at your Subaru dealer.
Test drive a Subaru at your local Subaru dealer today.
The CNS Money Saver checking account is such great news, it's all over town. For just $3.75, you get 12 checks a month, including honor. And there's no minimum balance. So why spend more on checking than $3.75? Only at CNS Bank.
Well, Jim, you know, they apparently found our buddy Randy.
Randy's been wandering around with the crowd down at the stadium. Randy, how are things going down there?
They're going great, Jim. You know, I must confess, when you guys tried to call me, I was watching all these floats go by here at the stadium. I'd say 4,000 or 5,000 people jammed in here watching the finish, and I heard you guys talking about it before, so I've been really excited about seeing this. And I have some of my pals here. What do you think about this?
It's fun.
It is fun. How about you?
I like spending my mom and dad's money on it.
And you told me Jim Reef looked mighty funny on that float, didn't you?
Yeah.
I agree. Well, we're just having a big old time out here at the finish, Jim and Pat, and it looks beautiful.
All right, thanks, Randy. Enjoy the crowd down there. And look at this one. Talk about lights for Edison.
Tell me why you cried. That's right. A little old Beatles music.
And they look like it too, don't they?
And they sound like it too.
Sound great. The Mahoney brothers.
They've been performing out there this week.
These guys make a living touring as the Beatles.
This is spectacular. Sound terrific. The crowd loves them.
Yes, they do.
The Lee County Hotel and Motel Association, a very vital part of our business in Southwest Florida, our business community.
And riding on the float tonight is Southwest Florida Regatta Queen. That's for 1986, Robin Maker.
And from the Mayflower Moving Company, moving with the times. Another very unique float tonight.
I don't know if I'd want that guy to move my furniture, but
Yes.
I guess he gets the job done.
Eventually.
That's Dr. Fun's time machine. Look at the animation on that.
I think Dr. Fun is enjoying the parade tonight as much as everybody along the sidelines.
We had a report that it was just starting to drizzle a little bit, but I don't see, from our vantage point, I can't see much, and it doesn't seem to be bothering anybody.
And it didn't look like with Randy at the stadium they were having any problems either, so
No.
maybe our luck will hold up.
And here we've got the Cypress Lake High School Band.
The pride of the Panthers.
160 members strong.
They have a superior rating, the purple and white. And they won a second place from the Treasure Coast Crown Jewel contest that was last year. Let's
Right.
listen. They sound good.
Right here in Fort Myers.
can see where they got the superior rating.
Yes.
Sounds strong.
Director's G. David Gillum.
160 members there tonight.
ROTC drill team. That ROTC unit out of Cypress Lake High School is one of the national award ROTC units.
Consistently ranking tops in the nation for their outstanding ROTC unit there.
Put together by Colonel Ted Timberlake, who is now on the school board.
He did so much work for them over the years, and it paid off. How many people went to West Point from Cypress Lake High School?
That's right.
A disproportionate number, really, compared to the rest of the country.
That's right.
Mainly to his credit.
And they're carrying on the tradition that Ted Timberlake started over there, as you can see, with this fine unit. Junior ROTC. There are some future junior ROTC cadets sitting on the sidelines.
He was waiting for his chance. A patient young man. He knew that camera would come his way eventually.
Let's go back to Randy Smith at Edison Stadium.
Yaramba the back. They don't want us to go back.
All right, this is the Moss Brothers float, another of our commercial entries in the parade tonight.
That's going through the stadium show right now. We've gone back to the stadium on that one right there. They were just showing that going through the area. Now we're back live here, I believe, on the parade route. Of course,
this is the Southwest Florida Regional Medical Center.
Charlie, when we go back to the stadium, then they are completing their journey at that point?
They take a circle around the stadium, and then they go out on the far side. They go into a big holding area, and everybody gets off the floats, and they start to pull the floats back to the storage areas. It's quite an operation.
So they stay in the storage areas this evening? They leave the floats right there?
Yes, and they'll move out tomorrow or wherever they're going next. I don't know where the next, parade is that they're headed for.
Somebody's getting sleepy.
Yes.
Still hungry, though.
It's called life along the parade route.
You bring provisions.
There is a lot of life along the parade route tonight. We have thousands and thousands of people lining the parade route here in downtown Fort Myers, and from our vantage point, they are 5 and 6 and 7 deep along the parade route, the sidewalk, out on the street.
Now, Jim, things don't always go right. Now, right now, and we can watch this, they're having a little bit of a difficulty with a float down there that may have completely stalled out. And one of the parade marshals on the unit, they're not showing him right now, but he's going to back up, probably hook onto that float, and they'll keep it moving.
They are quick to respond. It didn't take him but a minute to get back to that float.
That's right. So not everything always goes smoothly. It does happen, and when it does happen,
good so far, though.
Yes.
They got back very quickly.
And we'll be back in just a few minutes, so don't go away.
People who are aware of quality electronics know that Yamaha equipment is revered. It represents the ultimate in research and performance, always striving for the best. Now, for the first time, Stereo World will make it more affordable, offering the first annual Yamaha sale. Every Yamaha item in stock has been reduced, some as much as 50%. This $1,300 complete system is now just $699. Yamaha, the finest stereo equipment in the world, is now within your grasp at Stereo World, Fort Myers, and Naples.
This boardroom is the core of First Federal strength. Meet our board of directors. These successful area businessmen have helped guide our management through sound business decisions for many years. Their knowledge of our area's economy has given First Federal strength and prestige. And our customers enjoy the security of knowing that each account is insured for up to $100,000 by the FSLIC. A strong board of directors and the FSLIC. That's First Federal strength.
Link FM 97.
I see a few familiar faces there.
Dave Alexander and the boys.
Party Marty.
And it's just moving right along the parade route, right?
They're having fun.
Thanks for making us your #1 radio station, Southwest Florida. Hi, Pat and Jim.
#1 radio
Dave, how are you doing?
Hey, we had a minor difficulty
Now
in
we're
the
back in
breakdown
the
here, but we're getting
stadium.
towed.
The Shriners Hospital float.
Boy, the parade is here.
Dave said they had a minor difficulty, but they look like they're having a lot of fun on
It's
that wing
moving along.
float.
They got them hooked up, and they're going to go down that parade route, I'm quite sure.
They
That
really
would
got
be
that
our
other
float
one out
that would
fast.
stall, right?
Well, we moved ahead. Don't
This
blame
is-
us.
This is Dick Stahl, I believe. Yes, one of the assistant parade marshals. Dick has been involved in this parade for as long as I can remember, too. Once you get into it, you don't quit. And what have we got now?
Baron Collier, the Cougar Band.
170 members.
From Naples.
I had a call yesterday from one of the band members' mothers who was afraid about missing in between the commercials because I guess one year Baron Collier happened to get caught in that spot, but not tonight. We're going to listen to them.
Well, I think it's a great thing about all these high school bands is they have units for the youngsters who don't play an instrument. They have the baton twirlers, the flag units. So everybody gets to participate. And they are putting on a show tonight.
Oh, is that a show, huh? Look at them. Now, that is clever.
A little bit of aerobics out there tonight.
Look at this.
They're good. I like that.
Old-fashioned rock and roll.
The crowd loves it.
Well, now, all due respects, I've got to say so far, this one takes the cake.
This is terrific.
Talent plus.
We're talking originality right now.
Yes, originality.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Look at
The
that.
crowd on its feet for these youngsters.
And look at the smiles on those kids' faces. They know they've been a winner.
I can see why that mom was so proud yesterday when I talked to her. She wanted to make sure they got on television tonight.
Break up the band.
Here we go.
They aren't through yet.
They're going to get the McLaughlin Milligan style trophy, I think.
I'm with you on that one. They sound terrific.
What a great way to go out for a break right
What
now.
a show band. Our whole crew is standing out there tapping their feet, clapping their hands. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Hand-carved in Switzerland. Solid 18-karat gold. Water-resistant quartz. The Piaget Polo Day Date. The ultimate sports watch.
Jewelry you can afford because you know where to buy. Thalheimer's Jewelers in the Bell Tower shops.
People who are aware of quality electronics know that Yamaha equipment is revered. It represents the ultimate in research and performance, always striving for the best. Now, for the first time, Stereo World will make it more affordable, offering the first annual Yamaha sale. Every Yamaha item in stock has been reduced, some as much as 50%. This $1,300 complete system is now just $699. Yamaha, the finest stereo equipment in the world, is now within your grasp at Stereo World, Fort Myers, and Naples.
All the Lazy Boy styles and fabrics have come to Larry Norris. Get our low introductory prices now on hundreds of Lazy Boy recliners, swivel rockers, and sleep sofas. This high-fashion swivel rocker, only $199. This beautiful recliner, reduced to $299. And this dramatic sleep sofa, just $499. See all the latest colors and fashion fabrics in our huge Lazy Boy department at Larry Norris Furniture Gallery and Wall Unit Shop, Fort Myers, next to the Brown Derby.
The 1987 Edison Pageant of Light Parade coverage is brought to you by Firestone Advertising and their fine clientele, including Stereo World, your total entertainment center. For all your audio and video needs, trust Stereo World, the law firm of Goldberg, Rubenstein, and Buckley. Let them help you protect your legal rights. With offices in Fort Myers, Cape Coral, and Naples. Shutter World, the roll shutter leader. Celebrating the opening of their new location in South Fort Myers, and Thalheimer Jewelers, without equal, within reach in the Bell Tower shops. And also brought to you by FlexBond, the hometown paint experts, and Larry Norris Furniture Gallery and Wall Unit Shop, College Parkway in Fort Myers.
You know, Jim, we were saying they were walking fast
Here's
tonight.
almost the traditional.
That's right. We are moving along so fast that we're at the end of the parade. They're very early
The
this
tow
year.
truck you see going behind us there in your picture is it. That is the end of the parade. And let's go to Randy Smith at the stadium to see what's happening down there.
What's
Randy.
going on, Randy?
Well, Jim, we're just now getting the first of the parade, and this is great. And I think the 4,000 or 5,000 people up here in the stands, their hands are going to be tired by the time all these floats go by.
Randy, wait until you see the Baron Collier High School Marching Band. They are going to knock the stadium lights out.
Okay, well, I hear a big boomer coming that way, so maybe that's the band coming in. We had the Moss Brothers float that went by. We have another one coming up behind us. And it's quite a sight to see down here at the
Randy,
stadium.
you might be doing a little dancing when that band comes by. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. I'll get out there and dance.
They set the crowd on fire down here, Randy. I'm sure they're going to light up the stadium down there when they get there in just a few minutes.
They're moving fast, Randy. They are moving fast tonight.
Yeah, make noise.
Listen, you usually make arrangements for alternatives when the parade slows down.
Farmer's float. And that does look good. The cucumbers, the tomatoes, excellent stuff.
Randy, we talked about the same thing. I think we're all hungry.
Really, you know, this is about like a football game when you're in here and somebody scores and all the noise, it's kind of hard to hear.
Now, this is what it looks like when the melee ends. You see them, now they've packed up their chaise lounges they've had for a week out here or 2 weeks, and look at, they're all smiling. It's been a good parade. The rain, if there was any drizzle out there, it held off.
We were lucky on that. It looks beautiful still.
So you can wrap up another parade with a successful note, I think.
As long as it took the crowd to fill the sidewalks and the street side down here, it's taking about a fraction of that time to empty it. There's hardly anyone left out there on the street here along the parade route. We want to remind you that you didn't really miss very much during the commercial breaks, and we're going to record that for you and play it back. We're back in the stadium now where some of the floats are still coming in.
You know, a lot of them did go by so fast, it's kind of fun to look once again and see who we did miss. A little bit later, we'll see everybody that we missed during commercial breaks, but right now we're getting to see the parade once again.
And fortunately, the parade was moving so fast that you really didn't miss very much during the commercial breaks. It worked out very well this year.
That's true.
Charlie, you usually make alternative arrangements for when the parade slows down. This is kind of unusual. I don't remember in the, I guess I've been associated with the parade since 1978. I don't remember it ever going this fast.
Well, Jim, you know, there are a lot of things you really don't know what's happening behind you. You know, units can drop out, this sort of thing. I think we're getting ready to take a break.
We're going to take a break and we'll be back.
In Southwest Florida, high humidity is an everyday fact of life. But for many paints, high humidity means mildew. And that's why more people trust FlexBond. FlexBond paints are made right here in Southwest Florida, especially for our subtropical climate. So don't settle for anything less than the original Florida formula paints from FlexBond, because we're still here when everyone else's promises just fade away.
Don't let an auto accident shatter your game plan. If you've been injured in an accident caused by another person's carelessness, just compensation for your pain and suffering and any resulting financial loss is the legal responsibility of the party at fault. It is not automatic, however. Your claim must be proven and a determination made regarding the amount to which you're entitled. Consult the law firm of Goldberg, Rubenstein, and Buckley, a firm with over 20 years of personal injury claim and trial experience in Southwest Florida. The initial office consultation is free. Goldberg, Rubenstein, and Buckley.
Let's take a look now at some of the things that we missed along the parade route while we were in commercial break, some of the highlights from tonight, the floats that we didn't get to see.
These are some of the fireworks, of course, from Edison Stadium at Fort Myers High School. This sort of started out the evening tonight.
Right. That's the official kickoff, right, Charlie?
That's right.
We started things off with a boom when the cannon went off at 10 minutes to 7, and then a second cannon at 7 o'clock to start the parade, and then the fireworks and the floats.
And the cannon scared a few people at first. We were so busy preparing for what we were doing.
A lot of people thought it was thunder and that the rain was heading our way, but fortunately that held off. We were very lucky tonight.
You talk about cannons. We used to have the float that came down here from St. Pete, you know, and they had the conquistadores aboard, and they had that cannon. We had to stop them from firing the cannon on First Street. One year we blew out a couple of windows, got sued by a lady who claimed that her eardrum had been blown out.
I think that's the boys from the Gasparilla Parade who climbed up on our broadcast platform back in 1982 and really gave us a fright.
We're back at the stadium right now live, and you can see they're still having fun down there. The parade isn't over for them.
Can't we just hitch up one of these trucks to the front of this booth and just pull it down there?
We could be the last float in the parade. Everyone at the stadium getting a great show. There's that tall clown we saw a little while ago.
He is still walking. Can you imagine? His legs probably really are thin. That thin at this point. He's walked them off. And here's another guy.
ECC. University of South Florida float. Don't clown around and get an education.
That was one of the prettiest floats tonight. Very spectacular.
Yes, it was. And there really were some very lovely floats tonight. I think from the standpoint of quality.
You know, Charlie, here's one of the bands that we did miss, the North Fort Myers band.
That's right.
The Red Knights from North Fort Myers High under the direction of Brian Burgess.
140 members performing tonight.
And can you believe they won first place in the Cape Coral Marching Festival. Took it away from the Seahawks, I guess.
With a superior rating. Joining in the festivals for the past 3 years, North Fort Myers High School. We were listening to them a little bit.
Fine marching unit there, as are all the high school bands that are in tonight's parade. I think that's the best part of the parade. I love to see the high school bands, and especially the out-of-staters, come down and take part. They bring hundreds of people with them, the moms and dads and the chaperones and the teachers and all the kids. It's really quite a spectacle to have the kids come down and take part in this with us.
We're back at the stadium now, and folks are still watching the parade over there as some of the floats come in.
The stadium looks packed tonight.
People get a little bit confused because we, of course, are at the end of the parade route. The parade is still going on here.
I think, you know, the stadium, for those that like this sort of thing, that's an ideal situation and setup. To go to the stadium takes a long evening, but it can be an awful lot of fun.
And it doesn't look like anyone's leaving the stadium either. They're sticking around, kind of like sudden death in the Super Bowl. Nobody wants to go home.
One time they did, Jim, leave the stadium. That was when the Florida National Guard came in and put on a smoke bomb demonstration, and the smoke bomb went through the whole crowd. Yeah, that was something.
You remember these stories, Charlie. I tell you. And here's a little bit of a highlight once again, one of the floats that was going through while we were on commercial break.
Take a look at this coming around.
Yes, look at these.
There are some really precious gems in that jewelry box.
She's so
They're
precious.
delightful. And the youngsters are never too young to take part in this parade. I'm amazed at how young some of these kids are.
We're back at the stadium once again for the Lee Memorial Hospital float, the first place winner.
This is that brilliant red, white, and blue with lots of lights. Lee Memorial Hospital.
That's right. Well, as I said earlier, I think the quality of the floats this year has just been outstanding. You know, there for a couple of years, they kind of go up and they kind of go down, but this has been a very high-quality year for floats.
What's the main change in floats, Charlie, through the years? What do you see as a big difference?
The technical things they're using on these floats. You know, you have a lot more animation nowadays than what we used to have. And just makes it very interesting to watch.
We're going to go to a break right now. We will be back with more highlights. Stay with us.
What does the weatherman do when the water he gets hit with is from the sky and not from the pool? I batten down the hatches with roll-down insulating shutters from Shutter World. They're the beautiful way to protect your home from heavy weather, burglars, and the sun's heat. You can control them from inside, either manually or electrically. They'll stop water penetration even in high winds and provide extra insulation. Burglars don't stand a chance against this tough PVC. Nothing can beat Shutter World, not weather, not intruders, not the others.
Coast is the one.
Win Armstrong for Coast Federal. Owning your own home is one of the best investments you can make. Now is an excellent time to buy a home. Our mortgage rates are lower than they've been in over 6 years. Contact a realtor to select your home, then let Coast handle the financing. Coast is the one for the best in mortgage financing.
Coast is the one where you bank with confidence.
Extra, extra! Read all about it! Extra, extra! Subaru gives deals to dealers! Hurry! Great deals right now!
Factory incentives mean your Subaru dealer has up to $1,200 to make great deals on great wheels. So right now is the time to make a great deal on select models at your Subaru dealer.
Test drive a Subaru at your local Subaru dealer today.
Back live once again.
And we're going to be bringing you some more highlights of some of the activity that was going on during the commercial breaks a little earlier in the program. This is one of the fine high school marching bands that's been taking part in tonight's activities. Let's listen for a moment or two.
You may not know this, but we were talking earlier about Thomas Edison's inventions and the Spirit of Brilliance, the series that we had done all week on the Wink 6 o'clock news. And one of Thomas Edison's most famous inventions, which I didn't know when I started the series, and it was his personal favorite, was the phonograph. And let's listen now to Edison's pet project, the phonograph, in this edition of Spirit of Brilliance. That's how Edison's favorite invention sounds today, but listening to the record that made it to the top of the charts in 1877, you get an idea just how far we've come.
Mary had a little lamb, its fleet was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go.
Edison said he considered the phonograph the greatest of all of his inventions because it put music into our homes, and that music, next to religion, had done more to elevate man than any single event since the birth of Christ. Originally, when he thought of the idea of reproducing the human voice, his first ideas went towards ways of using it for blind people so that they could then hear what they couldn't see or read in books. Also the use of it in terms of history, in that he would have famous people record on it, give their speeches so that they would be recorded for history. From then on, people would be able to play it back.
There are more than 170 phonographs in this collection at the Edison Museum, all of them made by Edison himself. You may not even recognize this Thomas Edison invention today.
To me, it's amazing how fast the technology is moving. From the days of the wax cylinder, we've come to the LP, to the cassette, to the compact laser disc. The next step looks like digital audio tape, and from there, no one really knows.
From wax paper to waffle irons to the light bulb, Edison's inventions are worth fortunes. Yet he said all he wanted from his work was to make the world easier and more comfortable to live in.
He invented things that were going to make everyone's life a little better, and that they would be for everyone, the general public, whether it was the light bulb, the phonograph, the storage battery. And as it turns out that all of us today, the general public, all of us use the things that he began all those years ago. So I think he would be very happy with the results of the various things that he worked on.
And I think, what would you think tonight? We talked about that before.
I don't know, but I'm just, this is a marvelous little package that you're doing.
Thank you.
Sort of thing.
Let's go to the stadium and Randy Smith.
Hello, Jim and Pat. This is the Cape Coral Moose, and are they whooping it up on their float or what? All right. Again. The floats are coming in pretty steadily here at the stadium now. And we even got the crowd up behind us, rocking along with the music. Yeah. Are you guys having a good time out here at this?
It's wonderful. It's fantastic.
How many of these have you seen?
This is our 7th one.
Yeah, do they get better and better every single year? Yeah. This is so colorful and great over here. And we have Jimmy Nelson and I think his wife up in the press box kind of doing the play-by-play for us, so we know when they come in what we're going to look at. And right now, Mona Lisa's Italian restaurant coming up behind me. Let's go see if we can snag a pizza from these guys, huh?
Are you hungry, Randy?
I could be for some.
Seems like
Randy, we tried when they came by down here, and all they were handing out were hats.
Pizza! 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 You having fun up there? How many people did you see in this parade?
100,000.
You'll be back next year, huh?
Of course.
Probably take you till then to tear all these flowers and stuff off. All right.
No pizza, Randy.
No pizza. Let's see what else is coming up. Maybe a fried chicken float or something.
Well, Randy, we'll see if we can get you some food down there sometime tonight.
We were talking a little bit before about Edison's inventions and what he would think about everything tonight. One thing I did learn that we all know about the light bulb and the phonograph and what he did for the movies and the cameras that made tonight's coverage possible, but we don't know about some of the lesser known inventions. Let's look at them now in another edition of Spirit of Brilliance.
You can find a little bit of Thomas Edison everywhere. The man of first would develop the research that would eventually help fire the rockets that sent man to the moon.
Bye-bye, Eagle. We're standing by for your burn report, over.
His inventions provided the basic principles needed to run our computers and our lasers. Lasers used for everything today, from saving lives to solving crimes and to even playing our stereos. Robert Halgrim remembers the early days before his friend and teacher Thomas Edison changed the world.
This is Mr. Halgrim's table here at the Edison Laboratory. He worked here when he was only 17 years old, and from this vantage point, he got to watch over Edison's shoulder. What did you see in those days?
I saw lots of interesting things develop. I saw a wonderful man at work. He said, there's no such a thing in the world as a failure. He said a failure could only be a finger post pointing towards success. Follow it. Just work, hard work. He said he would do the thinking for every one of us that worked in the laboratory, and all he wanted us to do was the work. He said he had enough ideas to keep 200 men busy for 200 years.
One day, Edison told Halgrim to go to Cornell to study plants, but only stay 2 years, because he said if a man couldn't learn everything they were teaching in that time, he probably wasn't working hard enough and wouldn't learn it in a lifetime.
There's no such a thing as an impossibility. Anything that you have the mind to conceive, you have the physical ability to produce it. If we don't produce it, it's because of our laziness or our lack of interest or unwillingness to work.
I think Edison would be amazed at the way we're hopping back and forth from
Yes,
the
he
street
would.
to our boom camera to the stadium.
Yes.
And speaking of the stadium,
We're back.
One of the floats again now making its appearance through the stadium.
Sometimes I think Edison wouldn't be amazed at anything if he had still been alive. Who knows what we would be doing right
Well,
now.
you know, and with that, that's true. I don't think we really know the real impact this man has had upon civilization. I can't think of any one person who has probably contributed more to the progress of mankind. And I think you become aware of it when you have an opportunity to travel across the world and you see that what he started here, you know, lights the cities in Paris and London and Moscow. A remarkable individual.
tremendous impact on the world.
Just now, we met Thomas Halgrim, and I know that you know him. Robert Halgrim, rather, Thomas and the whole family. The Halgrims have done so much to preserve the Edison memory here in Southwest Florida, and I enjoyed meeting that family, and I could not believe the wealth of stories. He had the first-hand experience of being a lab assistant, and like you mentioned before, one of the last living connections
That's
here.
right, really. Mr. Halgrim is a link with history. You know, it's one of those vanishing generations, and he's the most remarkable and unique individual. He's still vitally interested.
Well, we just met Mr. Halgrim. Let's go now again to some of the lesser-known inventions as we continue our look at Spirit of Brilliance.
We're looking at Thomas Edison's most frustrating invention, the storage battery.
He had to conduct 9,000 separate experiments on the storage battery, and all of them failed. Even his assistant said, give up.
Mistakes was something that he didn't mind. He said he made more mistakes than any man that ever lived, but he wouldn't have been able to do half as much for humanity if he hadn't have made those mistakes.
Edison then had to plow through another 40,000 experiments to give us the storage batteries that now make our lives more portable. Even the transit buses in London use Edison batteries that are over 50 years old. You may not know that an earlier Edison invention helped to set the pace of Wall Street. After many disappointments, Edison patented improvements on the stock ticker tape, and it was officially his first real invention.
He said the man that never made a mistake would be a selfish, stingy person and take everything from the world. The man that made a mistake was trying to find an answer to something he didn't know. He said that man will help us find answers that we don't know.
I'm not just another doll. I'm almost like a real kid.
From his simplest invention, the talking dolls, to the sophisticated animatrons, Edison's inventions have come a long way. Now his little dolls walk and talk and seem almost human.
As I sit here in my laboratory in Orange, New Jersey,
Edison wanted moving pictures to record history. Now we see movies in 3D, and our satellite dishes deliver events as they happen. From electric irons to computer space graphics, to light bulbs, to electric fans, and even little Snoopy dolls. There's a little bit of Thomas Edison everywhere we look.
That's the second time I've seen those reports that you did this past week, and I'm amazed each time I see them.
Pat, you're a classic.
Thank you.
I love that.
What a subject, though.
Really?
Endless.
Yes,
you know,
it is. Yes, it
just
is.
amazing. You know, speaking of lights and everything, I think they're starting to turn them out.
They're slowly going away, aren't they? The street is empty now. It's been
There we are.
There we are.
There's the
Cameraman
ball
Tommy
spot.
Carlson standing behind us out on the street with the camera up over his head, taking a shot from the rear view mirror, so to speak.
It's
for us
been a
down
great
here.
evening.
It's
I've
been
had
fun.
a lot of fun.
We've had a ball having you with us, Charlie. We
We've known you
appreciate
so
all
much. It's helped us.
the historical
great fun.
sidelight you've been able to give us
It's been
tonight.
great fun. I enjoy it.
Shall we do it again next year?
Why not?
We'll do it.
Okay.
We're game.
Thank you, Charlie.
And thank all of you for joining us tonight. This has been Wink TV's live broadcast of the Edison Pageant Grand Parade of Light from downtown Fort Myers. Thanks very much for joining us, everybody.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
The 1987 Edison Pageant of Light Parade coverage has been brought to you by Firestone Advertising and their fine clientele, Stereo World, your total entertainment center. For all your audio and video needs, trust Stereo World, a law firm of Goldberg, Rubenstein, and Buckley. Let them help you protect your legal rights. With offices in Fort Myers, Cape Coral, and Naples. Shutter World, the roll shutter leader, celebrating the opening of their new location in South Fort Myers, and Thalheimer Jewelers, without equal, within reach, in the Bell Tower shops. And also brought to you by FlexBond, the hometown paint experts, and Larry Norris Furniture Gallery and Wall Unit Shop, College Parkway in Fort Myers.